Hey, what's up, parents? It's me, Seth, with SethPerler.com. I wear a lot of hats in the executive function world. And in this video, I'm going to talk about this massive problem. So what happens is that our students, and this really starts probably more fourth and fifth grade and then beyond, getting up into college. But there are so many portals for students to track. And within those portals, there are so many details for students to track. And we want our students really to be, A, building their executive function skills, and B, to be learning as much as they can in the classes. And they can spend so much time having to navigate this. It can just be so daunting and confusing and overwhelming that it can really cause a lot of problems. So I'm going to tell you first a little bit about this problem. And I'm going to talk about four things today. I'm going to sort of describe this problem to give you sort of a bit of an analysis to help you understand it better so you can more effectively work with it. And then I'm going to tell you three other things about this problem that can help deal with this. So first of all, I'm going to tell you 5 problems with the problem. Let me tell you about this problem. One of the problems here is that different teachers use different portals. So you might have, let's say, a 7th grader, and let's say that 7th grader has 6 different teachers. Maybe they have a math, a science, social studies, etc. And those teachers, maybe some of the teachers use the school district's portal. Maybe some of them have their own website. Maybe some use Google Classroom. Some use Schoology. Some use Infinite Campus. Some use whatever. So you have, first of all, the problem of not everybody being on the same page, which is fine if there is a sane system for doing that, but it's not. Number 2, different teachers, again, this similarity in this one is not being on the same page. Different teachers update things on different days. Okay, so some teachers may be very consistent. They may update things right away. They may update grades right away and assignments right away that are coming up. But some teachers may do it every once in a while. Some may do it randomly. Some may do it once a week. So everybody's on a different page. It makes it very confusing for the students or the parents to know when to check which portal. So the first problem is, which portal do you check? The second problem is, when do you check the portal for the different teachers? Number 3 is the lack of easy details. So some teachers do not put good details. In fact, some people will say, teachers will say, well, the student needs to learn how to find the details or how to listen better in class, or some type of BS that really the teacher should. And I love teachers, but there are teachers out there that really they have this portal. They have this amazing technology that's very easy to use, that can make life easier for everybody, and they don't have an idea of how the people, the user, the students and the parents are experiencing it's called UX, how they're having a user experience with their portal and finding the details. Like, what do you do if the thing is late? What do you do if it's missing? What do you do if you need another copy? What do you do if you need help? Like, what are the details of the assignment? When's it due? How long should it be? How long should it take? All of these sorts of things. It's very hard to find those details. And number 4, the problem with these portals is finding out things too late. So a lot of times what happens is that a teacher who doesn't update regularly will all of a sudden one day, let's say it's a couple weeks before the end of the semester, they'll get all caught up on their grades and put everything in, and then you find out, oh my gosh, my kid's failing this class, and it seemed like they were doing fine. So that's another problem that's very common. And number 5, the last problem that I find very common with these is just what I mentioned before, the legitimate overwhelming nature of this whole time-consuming problem. We want them to be focused on learning and the things that are really important, but it can take so much time and energy and executive function just to figure out what the heck they're supposed to be doing that it's daunting. You know, I don't want my students spending 20 or 30 minutes a night just trying to figure out what has to be done and sifting through confusing portals. So that was number 1, was telling you about the problem, and I hope that was helpful to you. Number 2, I have 3 more things for you. 2, what should you do about it? First of all, email the teachers to ask. Email each teacher. You can email them as a group if there are multiple teachers, or you can email them one by one. Either way, email them to ask the questions that you have. Any of the frustrations that you have with this system, those are questions. Let me say that again. Any of the frustrations you have are questions, okay? So if you're frustrated because you don't know how your kid is supposed to turn something in, or if they can turn in a digital copy because they always forget it and they did the thing and they're getting zeros, and you would like to just send in a picture of it, like, ask them, can we send in a digital copy? if you are trying to figure out when things are due, when teachers post new assignments, when teachers post grades, if you're trying to figure out how to get an extra copy, if you're trying to figure out more details about what do you mean on this assignment, we're confused, or this seems to be taking longer than is reasonable. So if any of those questions, email the teachers and ask them those things. And when you email them, ask them, hey, can you start posting these details regularly so that we don't have to keep bugging you? And if they're the type that is rigid and is refusing to do it, then by all means, keep bugging them as much as you need to find out the information you need to support your child. Your child is there to get an education and to learn. Okay, so it is for them. Sorry if I sound frustrated, but it's very annoying, and most teachers are not like this. But for the ones that are, it's very frustrating to deal with teachers like this. And you're just trying to help your kid, and it's like pulling teeth to try to figure out what the heck is going on. Number 3. Something that will really help you a lot is to make what's easy hard and make what's hard easy. And what I mean by that is, for your student, it's going to be really easy for them to find their, the passwords and the usernames and the links and everything for the things that they're interested in, for the things that they love. But sometimes it's hard for them to find, I've had students where it's the middle of October and I'm like, well, how do you get into your portal? And they're like, I don't know what my password is. And I'm like, okay, we need to figure out what your password is, and they haven't looked at it in forever because they don't even know what their password is. So anyhow, what I want you to consider doing is one of two things. One is using what's called the bookmarks bar. You can look up bookmarks bar. I know this is on Google Chrome, but it might be on other browsers. And on the bookmarks bar, what I do is I set my students up with all of the relevant bookmarks and their passwords and their usernames. And if you don't do that, you can also use a document, a Google Doc or what have you, and put the links and the usernames and the passwords. And then if you get more information, like, for class X, check it on Fridays because the teacher updates every Friday, or whatever the thing is, you can put those details in. But at the very least, I want you to be able to access everything easily. So if you have a document with those links linked in the document and the username and the password and all of those things, and it's in one easy place, I really want my kids to have a very easy, make what's easy hard, what's hard easy, a very easy place to find these things. And then for the things that are distracting, make it harder to find those things. And ultimately, I want my kids to have buy-in, obviously, ownership to doing that. So sometimes we'll do creative ways for that, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Okay, so I also want you to bookmark other things that are important, like the syllabi or the certain pages that teachers want you to go within a portal or things like that. And number 4, last but not least, I really try to get my students, I call it an S&O, a Sunday Night Overhaul, where we overhaul all their systems. But during an S&O, one of the things that we do is check the portals. So I at least want my students once a week, I don't care what day it is, I don't care if it's Sunday, but at least once a week, doing a deep dive into the portals, looking at all the grades, the missings, the incompletes, the zeros, the scores, the things that are coming up, really looking with fine-tooth comb through the portals. Again, sometimes it's unfair in the sense that these portals are confusing, and I would be talking to the teacher about that and be like, why don't you have a link to X, Y, and Z on an easier part of the portal so we don't have to dig through? But having said that, either way, I want my students to at least once a week be doing a deep dive into the portal to make sure that no stone is unturned, that they really have checked everything and they're really aware. And again, I'm an executive function coach. We're dealing with executive function skills. Doing these things are skills to build. It's not just a matter of they just need to try harder or care more or be more motivated or things like this. Like, these are skills, and even looking through these portals. So anyhow, my name's Seth Perler, SethPerler.com. I also have an awesome summit called ExecutiveFunctionSummit.com for parents, and we have stuff for teachers there. And if you like what I'm doing, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. When you are thinking about these portals, what are some of the problems with the portals that I may not have mentioned? Some of the things that are particularly frustrating, and what are the things that you've done to help manage the portal stuff and make it easier for your child, or help your child build those skills themselves? Yep. Thumbs up, like it, comment, subscribe. It really does help my channel out when you subscribe, and you can get notifications if you want. Either way, I want to wish you peace in your heart. I want to wish you joy. Most importantly, I want to wish you connection with your kiddo and the people that you care about. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you next week.